Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 1998 TVR Cerbera Speed 12. Now this was designed in 1997 and based in part on then current TVR hardware, and it was intended to be both the world's highest performance road car and a GT1 class endurance racer. However, problems during its development, changing GT1 class regulations and the eventual decision it was unusable as a road car forced its cancellation, which is a great shame because this car is pretty damn mad, quite frankly. Doesn't weigh all that much, has a huge amount of power, is only rear wheel drive, and is made by a really rather small company. TVR were never that big. I think the most they ever produced in terms of numbers for a single car was a few thousand. And the Cerbera that this car was based on only got to numbers of about 1200, so yeah, not a high volume production company, and yet they were able to make this world beater of a car because it's got 800 horsepower, 649 pounds-feet of torque from a 7.7 litre V12 engine. That is more power than a McLaren F1, it's even more power than a McLaren Senna, and I think only the likes of the McLaren P1 are more powerful than this in terms of British sports cars. So yeah, monumental car for the time, and still quite a monumental car even now, even 20 years later. So yeah, let's get out there and see what it can do. Now, to deal with all that power under the hood, you're going to need a pretty good suspension, and this does, with double wishbones, coil springs over gas dampers, and an anti-roll bar. Couple that with ventilated brake discs front and rear, and you've got a car that really does handle supremely well, which is no surprise. The standard Cerbera was a cracking handling car, and this is as well, even with all that extra power, because it's had about 360 horsepower more than a standard Cerbera, and obviously a much larger engine. And you can see how good it's handling even at that kind of speed, which is helped by the fact that this car only weighs 2,150 pounds. So that suspension isn't having to deal with all that much weight and can concentrate on the business of dealing with that kind of power, which it needs to really, because it's acceleration wise this is even quick in terms of today's standards, never mind 20 years ago. 0 to 60 in 3.512 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6 seconds, and it'll go into a top speed of 241 miles an hour. Now that's quick today. 20 years ago for a small company like TVR is hilarious, quite frankly, and the fact that we're able to do it is also really rather good as well, and it's just a great shame that they didn't have either more money or more time to be able to develop it further, so it could be a road car, or those GT1 class regulations didn't come into effect and ruin the racing chances, because this would have been formidable. It's clearly a world beater 20 years ago, and quite frankly there's not much else out there that can go quicker than this even today. So love it quite frankly, and it's fun to drive as well, especially when you get into high speeds, because you just can't believe that you're going this quickly while handling so easily, but it does, and it's fun because of it. And the fact that it's lightweight and it's rear wheel drive means it's really rather quite chuckable. It doesn't quite like going oversteer all that much, because once you get to the limit it does seem to let go. Now whether or not that's because of the car itself or because of the conditions that we're currently driving in, I don't know, but today's it. But either way, when you get to the limit it does feel like it's about to snap oversteer on you, and you will spin out if you push it too hard. But what do you expect? This is a car that weighs barely 2,000 pounds and has 800 horsepower. It's gonna be at least a little bit tricky at the limit, so that's just to be expected really. And there we go, that's my point proven. But nonetheless, a cracking vehicle really, and really glad it's on the game. It's not been on a Forza game for a long time, so I'm glad it's back, let alone back in a game where we're actually set in the UK. It is a barn find, so you're going to have to hunt for it. I think it was about 12th in the barn finds through my playthrough of the game, so it is quite far through the game, but if you're really after this kind of car, you will play the game just to get it, and it's well worth getting because it's really rather quite unique. There's not much out there that's like this, let alone much out there that's quicker than this, and as good as handling, and looks as good as it is this, and is also as fun to drive as well. So get out there and find it if you haven't already, because it's a great car and it deserves to be driven as hard and as fast as possible, because yeah, it's a great shame that it was never really made. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.